This trick uses just 3 cards. I've got 2 black queens and 1 red queen. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit closer. I'm going to take the red queen and place it between the 2 black ones. In fact, we'll do this face down just like so. As you can see, it really is sandwiched between them. And I'm going to slide that face down card all the way through in between the other 2. And although it's sandwiched in place, with just a rub, it actually melts through. Hey, how's it going, guys? I hope you're doing good. Welcome back to another tutorial video, and today is a trick that I have been meaning to make for quite some time. It's been on the list for a while, so I can finally tick it off and teach you this trick where 2 cards sandwich another and somehow that one in the middle melts through in this really nice moment. And I think it's kind of a magician fooler for some people because they'll look at it and they'll go, is it sleight of hand? Is it a gimmick? What exactly is going on here? And the inner workings of this trick are full of little subtleties that I'm sure you're gonna love. So grab yourself 3 playing cards and an extra playing card as well. And I'm gonna teach you how to make the gimmick because there is a gimmick involved. And in my opinion, it's a really clever one. So yeah, let's do it. All right, here we go. These are the things you're going to need in order to make the gimmick. We have some rubber cement. Glue is absolutely fine, but as you know, rubber cement is great for making gimmicks. Also, of course, our trusty scalpel and 3 playing cards. I've gone for 1 that is contrasting in some way, so a red one and 2 black ones, but feel free to switch up the presentation to honestly whatever you want. These can be jokers, these can be whatever you want, but the 2 cards here need to have some sort of frame or border around them. That's going to be really, really important, so I've chosen court cards, but if you have jokers that have a frame like this, then use jokers, but I think court cards work fine. As for the back design or the style of card, that really doesn't matter, so feel free to use custom cards or whatever. And you're also going to want, like I said, another playing card. This is just a completely random card, but it needs to have a matching back design. Okay, time to construct the gimmick. You might also want some scissors, so have those handy as well. We're going to start with our 2 semi-matching cards, our 2 black cards in this case. We're going to take one of them and take our scalpel and cut down the frame, just like so. So in this case, I'm going to cut from here to here along that blue line, along this black jack, just like so. You can use a ruler, but to be honest, you can also just freehand it. It is just a straight line, and it means we have a little slit in the card, just like so. Fantastic. Once that's done, we're now going to take our random extra card, grab your scissors, and you're going to cut straight through this card, around about sort of where the angel's head, where the sort of cherub's head is. Basically going to cut that off. Or sort of through the head, really. It does not have to be precise at all, but I cut off about this much, just like so. The rest of this card we do not need. You can get rid of that, and we're going to take the rubber cement and just apply a tiny little strip of it to the face of this card. So the bit with the 5 of spades in this case on. Just a little bit on there. Lovely. And then a little bit more just in the middle, in a sort of strip along the card that we just cut. Now just wait for the little cut strip and the card with the slit to dry, and then you're going to press these together and seal them up. And you should end up with something like this. Once it's all glued together, the strip of card is right in the center and the slit that we made is on this side. That is super important. But here's the question. How do we take these 3 cards now and create the illusion that you saw in the intro? Once you've got your 3 cards, here is how they're going to be arranged. The one with all the dirty work, the cuts and the stuff stuck on it, that's going to go at the bottom to hide all of that, and the other 2 can go on top, or you can hold the red queen separately. And I can even display them like so. And I'm not worried about that cut right there. I'm not worried about the fact that there's a slit because it's so invisible and people aren't looking out for it. If you know what you're looking for, you might see it, but you might not, even if you know that it's there. So I'm not worried about that, I just display them front and back. However, the one thing I really don't want to show is this right here, because that is dirty. That is something that I really do not want the audience to see. If they see that, the game is up. that is hard to explain. So I just want to keep these cards together, and I want to have a good awareness of where this is, which is why I'm using the Queen gimmicks and not the Jack ones I just made up, because I don't know the exact placement of this strip on the Jack gimmicks. I haven't practiced with them enough, so I'm practicing, or I'm performing rather, with something that I've practiced with a lot. I know these gimmicks inside out. I know how to handle them, and I know where that card ends and where it begins. So that's just another really important note. Now, I can take this Queen card and I begin the performance by explaining that the red Queen is going to go between the two black ones. And I just slide it in face up, almost without thinking. And then I remember, oh, actually, it needs to be face down. So this first one that I do, I'm genuinely just putting that card between the other two, because I want to cement this image in their mind. Like, oh yeah, you just put the card in between the other two. There was no funny work, there was no oddness about it. But then I turn it over. And when I turn it over and slide it in again, I'm not going to slide it normally. I'm going to slide it through the slit, just like so. So now the card is through that little gap that we made. And this placement right here is super important because it tells the audience that it really is going between the two cards, right? Because they can see the one underneath, they can see this in the middle and this one on top. And then I push. Now what I'm doing is I'm lining up this little sort of spade, this little arrow again, I'm lining it up with the edge of the card. And what this allows me to do is slide the top card over. So again, at the moment, I'm just sort of holding it with thumb on top, fingers underneath. The other hand comes across and just contacts that top card, drags it over and shows this. Boom! Extra convincer. Convincer number 2, they see it really in between the other two cards. It doesn't even matter if the length of the card isn't quite right. No one's ever going to realize that maybe the card is too short or whatever. It really never happens. The great thing is though, because my thumb is on top and my fingers are underneath with the Queen like this, I can feel that those edges pretty much line up. I can feel the edge of this card that's stuck down, this little strip, and I can feel the edges right here. So I just line them up with my fingers before I come across with the other hand and show it. Then I square these cards up. I begin to push this card through the other two, right? For the audience, that's what's happening. And as I do that, I pull with these fingers to bring that card just like so. Now we're in a situation where this is happening underneath. This red Queen is still going through the slit. So what I need to do in order for the penetration, in order for the melting to happen, I need to just pull a little bit further. And already it's now out. So this is what happened. If I reset, the card was through the slit just like so. I'm holding the Queens separate underneath. This is what I did. I drag and I push. So all I'm doing is I'm taking it out of the slit and then returning it to where it is. And that can even be done during a rubbing motion like so. If you want to sort of have the card melt through like this, you can incorporate taking it out of the slit into this sort of dramatic presentation, and then you lift the cards away. You can spread these two, not too much remember, but then you can show this just like so. A really nice thing you can do is just display them like you did at the start, like the trick has come full circle. The impossible has just happened, and now you have these cards. Personally, I think the easiest way of ending clean is by having a deck of cards in your pocket with an ungimmicked version of our gimmicked card, in this case the Queen of Spades, right on top of the deck. So I've got an ungimmicked duplicate Queen of Spades face down on top of a face down deck. That goes in my pocket. Now I'm at the end of the trick. I'm doing this display right here. I hand off the Queen of Hearts first, the focal point of the trick, the one they're definitely going to want to see first. They take a look at that, and then these go to my other hand. And as I reach to get the deck out, this is very, very chilled, this is very on and off beat, these cards turn over. So now the gimmicked Queen of Spades is on top face down. This all happens as I'm getting the deck out. My motivation for getting the deck out is as if I'm about to lose these cards in the deck. As if the trick is over, right, the 3 cards I was using, they can now return to the pack. But as that's happening, I'm going to do an adapted top change, just like so. So now I can hand these 2 cards out because we have a Queen of Spades and a Queen of Clubs, both of which are now ungimmicked. So what happened there, if I sort of reset clumsily, so we've got the gimmicked Queen of Spades right on top, just like so. What I do with the ungimmicked is it comes underneath and I put my thumb on top of the gimmicked version and drag these 2 cards out. So now we have 2 ungimmicked cards. They are never going to notice that these 2 cards have swapped places, and if that really bothers you, you can just hand them out separately to 2 different audience members, and then they can puzzle over these 2 completely ordinary playing cards. So once again, the ungimmicked goes on top, the gimmicked is face down on top here, and it comes underneath, and I drag these 2 cards away and then hand them out. And that is the end of the trick. You've ended clean, you've done this miracle full of little silent subtleties. That is Queen through Queen. So, I hope you enjoyed that sneaky little method to a small scale miracle. One of my favorites, actually. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the thumbs up button down below. That really is appreciated. And we are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, which is fast approaching. I would love it if we could get it by the end of the year, so make sure to subscribe down below if you enjoy my tutorials and my other content. I do lots of things here, so if you like anything to do with magic, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care, guys.